Well, ladies and gentlemen, Six Fig Stock Trader here on YouTube, and today we're going to be checking out Nervous Networks CKB. Before we do, check me out on Twitter at Real6Fig. This is where I'm dropping the latest and greatest videos, upcoming live streams. In addition, this is where I drop the charts when I cannot make it to my computer to make you guys a video. Now, yesterday afternoon, I dropped this chart and I said, watch out for the inverse head and shoulders here. Well, let's look and see exactly what is happening. Price was trading at 0.0229. We can see I haven't changed anything here, but you can kind of see where I was going with this. I do think that we might actually see something more along the lines of this. Play out and then rip to the upside somewhere in there. One thing that is for sure is you could argue that, hey, there's an easy neckline to be made here. So I think that CKB may be setting up for some sort of symmetrical triangle, bull flag, off this bull flag pull to get it to the next level. Now let's really take a high level look at this on the daily chart. And unfortunately, we have seen CKB kind of crash into the cloud here, which is never really a good sign. But CKB has really rebounded from this low Bitcoin crash that we had quite nicely. I mean, we've seen this thing basically go from about 3 cents down to about just a little under 2 cents for a 35% retracement. And then we saw it recover somewhere at least 27% of that. So I do think that right now, as long as things are still good, even on the daily chart, we can even see the argument where we could be making for another inverse head and shoulders kind of pattern, similar to what happened down here. So this was a clear neckline, and you can see that the results were great. So I think that we may see CKB bum rush up to maybe this 0.033-ish level, and we may see another little bit of a dip and then another rip to the upside. And I do think that consequently, we'll be looking at, if I go ahead and delete some of this stuff, we might be looking at somewhat of a ascending triangle or something of that nature in the grand scheme of things. Now, this may not play out till the end of December. That's the only caveat to this. It is what it is, right? So we need to see this come up. There might be an opportunity for a trade, sell off around the 0.033-ish level, and maybe buy back in somewhere around the 0.0289. Not financial or trading advice whatsoever. But this is kind of really interesting because this is really reminding me of what happened way back here. We could see this sharp dip and then it just popped up. This was merely because Voyager app had listed CKB and the price spiked, but you can see this heavy dip almost down to the 50 moving average on this last run up. And you can kind of see history repeating itself along this little stretch. So I do think that, yes, this hurts to travel into the Ichimoku cloud on the daily, but the world is not over. And I do think that this may be some sort of blessing in disguise to help get us this little inverse head and shoulders to propel us to new levels. So that's really my take on CKB, but we really need to check out Bitcoin right now. So with that said, if you could just smash that like button, I would totally appreciate it more than you guys know. Bitcoin on the daily, folks. This is interesting. You know, what did we see the last time with Bitcoin on the daily when we tested this 200 moving average? Well, we saw price action come up, and then we saw a pretty sharp corrective wave to the downside. You can see that here, and you can kind of see that here. So we have two similarities noted already. Now, I do think that if price action can hold along this 200 moving average, we may see a rapid move, possibly even up to the $75,000 level with Bitcoin. And this is going to be crazy to see, because this was one hell of a melt-off in price action, for sure. We can just see from the all-time high down to this low was about a 40% retracement. So that's significant. And if we can get another run to the upside like we did here, we might be looking for a 67% increase in price. So let's look at where 67% is. So, I mean, man, 70,000. Is this going to set us up for a double top situation? It very possibly could with Bitcoin. So the other alternative, if we don't go up, is that we fill out this head and shoulders pattern and really start heading down to the downside. And that is not something that we really want to see right now. So Bitcoin is really clinging for dear life at this point in time. On the 12-hour chart, you can see how Bitcoin is going to try to make its move right through this Ichimoku cloud. And this would be the best place for it to do so, because it is a weak spot in the cloud. It means price will have a very easy time at recovering and rebounding, kind of like what happened back here. So this is exactly what we want to see, and hopefully we can get this 50 moving average to start arcing like this. And the second that does, we're going to see some pretty dramatic climb up to possibly retest this 50 and 200 down here. And we might just kind of bounce sideways through this little weak spot in the cloud like we did here. So it's interesting right now. I do think that Bitcoin is hinging, and man, this is make or break time, because we have really demonstrated the power of manipulative price action in the charts. So, I mean, we can see that right now. If we go ahead and just throw up this little trend line like this, I mean, you could kind of argue that exists there, how we are still on this trend line from the coronavirus lows of March of 2020. So this is what I'm saying, folks, is this is why it's going to be so important for Bitcoin to really hang in there. And like I was saying in the last video, so here's a possibility. So let's say we do get the bounce on Bitcoin, and let's say it comes up and double tops this $70,000 mark. Come back down for maybe a retest of the $60,000 level. If we can get a retest, what do we have? We have a grand scale ascending triangle. Think about that for a second. If this happens, we're going to see another run just like this occur. And it's up, and game on. It is game on. So you can kind of see this is almost a similar setup to what we might be seeing happen, and price just went crazy. So that is really my take on Bitcoin and the entire market right now. Like I said, Bitcoin is hinging. Nothing we can do about it. CKB might be in this inverse head and shoulders. Nothing we can do about it. But if there is another corrective wave with CKB, you can bet we're coming down to retest this 200 moving average at or around 2 cents. If you guys could please smash the like button on this video and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. In addition, big shout out to all the Patreons of the channel. I love you all. Thank you guys for supporting. If you're interested in supporting, it's $3 a month. I'll get your name, YouTube channel name, or business name up on this banner. See you guys on the next video.